Okay, welcome everyone to a beautiful November day out here in Wisconsin. Boy, frigid tundra day is the best description for it. But hopefully we'll have a great session here talking about retail insights in the health and beauty categories. As the last few people log in to go to webinar, just a couple of introductions. I'm Dan Sabinosh, Director of Shopper Marketing at Great Northern Instore, a company that is a world-class designer and manufacturer of retail displays, ranging from temporary to semi-permanent and permanent activations at retail. A few quick things about the GoToWebinar tool. Today's session will be about 45 minutes is the targeted time. We will cover a variety of things from our audit, but wanted to say, please, if you have any questions, please pop them into the questions section of the GoToWebinar tool. I'll try to keep some time at the end to capture those. Also, for those that are out there, so you know, the content will be available afterwards as well. So we'll be sending you a thank you email for attending. You can easily respond back to that, reply to it back to me, and I can get you any pieces of the deck or information that you find useful, and hopefully you do find this useful. So with that, we'll get rolling. One other part of the introduction I do want to say is our company's mission is to help our customers win by doing what others can't or won't. This is one part of that as well, to really help bring you insights as to what's happening in the retail marketplace to apply to your next retail activations. So getting started with the audit, as I do introduce these, as we have these webinars, we utilize our own app to gather the insights. We push a form out, a questionnaire, to our national team that's made up of account managers and designers that span the country. And we're able to then get into a good quantity of retailers. And in this case, we got into probably about 30 stores to do this particular audit. More in the mass area of things, thinking Target, Walmart, drugstore chains, but also got into a few others, Sephora, Ulta as well, for some other activations. And how I broke up today's webinar is into 6 different sections that we'll kind of go through and weave a story through. One is being on trend, being ethical, really calling out claims, making it easy for the shopper, utilizing impact to command attention, and then as important and as comes up regularly on our webinars, experience. So starting off with first on trend, everybody likes to be on trend. These are categories without a doubt that are always, that's a key attribute, is to be out there with the latest and greatest and to be on trend. And one of the biggest things that we're seeing retailers and brands calling out is literally in the store that they are on trend, trending now. Here's a Target layout where they've actually created a little box for some of the key items from Revlon that are the on-trend, trending now items that they highlight nicely with a lit box around it, some great imagery, which is definitely seen in the beauty categories with the product there, but definitely using visuals to really highlight what is on trend. Another Target end cap. Now, this is one of their newer fixtures that they're beginning to roll out to stores. I don't know the exact number, but they had a handful of pilot stores earlier in the year that they began, and starting to see this roll out to more and more stores across the chain. But in this case, again, an end cap piece all of these pieces you can see down the aisle, low profile, lit around to, that's the very beauty-esque to provide some great lighting. But definitely the top thing called out there, trending now, to really highlight the items here are the latest, the greatest. Check it out, get attention that way. Into drugstore, also kind of in the same vein as being on trend. It's getting the look that you want. In this case, the wink that you want here in this end cap, really highlighting that out and calling out these eyelashes in that whole product category. But again, the product that you want, the look that you want, getting called out boldly in the POP. Another target, in this case, it's not just them calling it out as a store, but even on the brand's POP directly, L'Oreal, really on this temporary end cap, calling out tried and true favorites, new for you innovations, again, calling out that latest and greatest piece very boldly right at the top of the activation to really catch the shopper's eye about these are the things that you must have. And then again, Target using their own signage to highlight the products we love and doing this kind of in the fun way of instead of calling it out, but with a little heart to bring a little bit of extra little smile to and joy to the end cap in this fashion of something different. So and seeing this regularly in multiple product categories where they are curating products, in this case at a certain price point or under a certain price point. So again, as the shopper is getting around, seeing this move into the beauty categories of products we love under $10, a key call out there. So again, we've seen this in other categories, now also in the beauty area. The next area to explore a bit is ethical. And, interestingly, I utilize Mintel for a number of pieces of understanding what the latest and greatest is and the trends and the shopper stats. And interestingly, their 2019 beauty guide was actually all about ethical and product waste and minimizing waste and ingredients. And a few stats from that to highlight that piece are, and it was a global survey, so interesting to see those numbers, but 74% of Spanish consumers are concerned about the ingredients in their personal care and beauty products that may not be sustainable. So a big concern there by nearly 3/4 of Spanish personal care consumers. Over half of Brazilians purchase sustainable goods because they don't like to waste. Again, over half of UK consumers are researching products online first to really get an understanding of what they are about, what the company is about. And nearly half of US consumers will say they live sustainably. So again, maybe the number isn't necessarily as high, but maybe that's to some degree because of understanding the challenge of how do I live sustainably? But again, a large quantity trying to definitely think about products, particularly in the health, beauty, personal care categories that are sustainable. I'll say it and add it on as I was at Grocery Shop this past September. And again, that was one of the humongous themes that came across. And that's, again, a little more on the food and beverage end of things, but anything sold in grocery stores was all about sustainability. And I can't say how many times was mentioned the billions of tons of plastic in the oceans by speakers and the concern that is out there and what people and companies are trying to do to make sure that their environmental footprint is lessened. So a few things, what we see then in retail is the beginnings of how do people call this out? And I think this is a big space that can still, as we audited, these were not the majority of displays that really called this out. And so there is opportunity. In this case, a new Vicks cough syrup products that are free of certain ingredients, boldly calling that out on their display in the top line, the first message being communicated. In this case, this is a cool end cap at Target about Myro deodorants, which are, again, just a great structure here that almost looks like the deodorant barrel, and really bringing to life and kind of making it fun, and the shelves there color coded. Just a really great temporary activation where they've taken over the whole end cap. The shelves are taken off, and it's this whole piece that slides in place. So all of that is really cool, and then definitely a product that is all about reimagining deodorant, again, being a lot more friendly to you, the environment, etc. All about that here, and that is the main call out. And using those kind of cues or those more natural-ish, neutral wood like background to this activation. So really a sharp piece all around that again really calls out to it's how is this product better. In Ulta, Eco Tools, again, a much more friendly product, and calling it out in the name. And again, to some degree, the materials being a recyclable, temporary material that the display is made out of, as well as the top line in the name called out of what this is. Honest Beauty, another one about the ingredients that are in there and what it is about. Making this really nice, clean end cap that kind of really echoes with, again, the overall theme of being honest. Another one in Target, again, the clean lines, the clean space, clean, calling out again boldly on the top info box, clean ingredients, but as well highlighting to the consumer that it still is a powerful payoff, that you're not necessarily sacrificing efficacy for the product. Here was a nice setup where, again, taking over the entire end cap with a whole variety of mixed materials, all about this clean and safe formulas called out pretty clearly, but again, using a botanical-like look to call together the entire theme that really brings this all together. And again, using some tools on this end cap with the signage on the sides, with the backer paper, as well as with the header, that all brings this whole piece together for the shopper. And it's not just even cosmetics, even toothpaste, Colgate, really calling out American mint farmers, really again highlighting local sourcing, etc. That comes to life here, and calling it out boldly on their PDQ trays here at Walmart. So again, taking a step towards going there, really utilizing the space here, and really humanizing it. Not just calling it out as a claim that they do boldly on the front lip, but literally showing a picture of an American mint farmer that really helps connect with the shopper. We know from research, faces do really connect and get that first glance in the shopping environment, and here Colgate utilizing that very effectively. Next area is all about claims, and this is for both beauty, but also very much particularly the health type of products that we're out there and looking at, is making sure that your product in the POP is just screaming the key claims for your product. So the first ones I'm going to start off with are a few Walmart examples where, as we all know, Walmart really will do the volume, do one particular PDQ tray, in this case, in this example, and stack the end cap with it. So that message is just repeatedly hammering home with the shopper. And so here, again, using bold contrast on the almost black, but dark magenta, bright white, bold text, all around heartburn. You just can't miss it when you see this end cap, so you have an understanding of what this product is for. And then very cleanly, although it could have probably been a little more bold on the right, the 24 hours for the protection that this product offers. Advil, really calling out again on the bold dark background with the very high contrast yellow to create that game on, pain off connection, some relevancy here in the fall time with football season, but also very boldly calling out Advil number one choice. Number one choice. And structurally kind of cool, and we see this, Walmart does this a lot in the health and wellness area, but using these gravity-fed PDQ trays to get the largest amount of billboard for the messaging. And that's something that's, I feel, is a great tool that could potentially be extended to a host of other vehicles and not necessarily just PDQ trays to get that big billboard effect. A few others at Walmart around some of the Equate brands. In this case, again, that same structure, gravity fed to provide, again, billboard. But here I wanted to be, again, doing a great job of driving that credibility for a private label brand by having pictures of health professionals as part of the activation. As we mentioned, faces attract attention. So that's number one, a great thing for these activations. And then secondly, by having it be a medical professional, really driving some of that credibility behind their private label Equate brand. So doing a few nice things with the imagery here to really hammer home these products, and maybe not necessarily via a hard-hitting claim, but the imagery in itself, that professional validation, is the claim. In the beauty area, in this case, the part I really like, and you can look over on the right side, L'Oreal calling out that they are America's #1 mascara. So again, utilizing the bold claim to drive leadership and go, ooh, if I'm not using this, I should be trying the #1 mascara. Another Advil one, again, great with the contrast. It's their brand colors, but they do a great job of highlighting their text there. And again, it's all about that key claim right below Advil there. Maybe not necessarily using the #1 claim here, but it's fast and lasts to really, again, resonate with the shopper that has pain. And the other thing, structurally, I'll say, again, something unique, a little bit different than the standard, I'll say, very boxy, rectangular side cap. So kind of a sharp, even structural activation here. We're using really thin and the cantilevered shelves. Looks a little bit different than that everyday box, and really helps the product stand out, reach towards the shopper. Another one, Vaporizer Cold. Again, great activation where it commands attention by kind of having the bottle shape of the Vicks bottles with that cap, and then the big, bold, call to action at the top on the cap there. And this actually, even in Menards, here in this case, a product for hand relief, some great use of, I'll say, really bold colors of that bright green, and then their orange logo for O'Keeffe's here. And again, the hard-hitting claim of guaranteed relief, which kind of, again, goes, ooh, relief and guaranteed. So again, must be pretty good. So calling that out really boldly on this activation that can kind of hang in, as in this case, kind of as a mini side cap, but in a variety of secondary placements. also could be structured to actually fit into a mini tower as well, a nice little modular piece. And then it's also, picking the right seasonal messaging too, and being very relevant with your claim. So in this case, Tums coming out here as we're hitting the holiday season with the red trays with snowflakes all around. Yup, we're gonna have all these big holiday meals, Thanksgiving, Christmas, etc. And well, sometimes you need relief. So again, very seasonal-esque as well. Makes a lot of sense to drive relevancy. Easy. So it is all about the shopper. We all know we're starved for time. We're shoppers ourselves, and it's how do we make it easy for the shopper to navigate, find products, get to them. And in these categories, we're talking about lots of, for the most part, smaller packaging, a whole variety of products, lots of SKUs. How do we help the shopper get to the one that's right for them and make it easy? So they go, yeah, it imparts the entire experience around a brand that they love that doesn't make it hard for them to potentially come home and realize when they're home they have the wrong product, or worse yet, get frustrated and not buy the product. So good chemistry, doing a great job here with color coding to really drive into the various segments of their product line that really lines up nicely and makes it very easy to pick the right segment for the shopper here by that great color coding. And simultaneously, they still kept themselves with a nice uniform look, usage of font, usage of some icons, usage of, again, just a structure that they use here that even though they're each differently colored sections, this is all part of the good chemistry line. A lot of inline pieces that we observed and took pictures of. Here's one for the good stuff, which again here, right off the bat, the packaging is very similar looking from a label perspective, except for potentially the form and size. On the package, the copy of the text, if you look closely, is a different color, but they really help bolden it with the color box sticker below the product. So you just clearly get that these are different products, and I should be checking and making sure that aligns up to be the product that I need to bring home. Another one from vitamins, again, utilizing here a tray that is color coded to match the packaging in this case. The packaging is very boldly colored, and the lip of this tray matches that, so you can clearly make sure you're selecting the right product. Here's one for Spring Valley, a palette at Walmart, where again, this is a host of bottles. Unless you're reading very carefully, you have to be careful to be picking up the product you want. And in this case, kind of neat where they're, particularly for potential restocking, where the display itself is the common green color. They have the color coding on the informational panel there, but each little PDQ shelf-ready tray has the color coding for the particular vitamin or product or dietary supplement. So if there's restocking involved, the next case comes in with that tray, can load in, helps make sure that it's stocked right as well from the store personnel's perspective, or easy enough to replace if one of these trays gets emptied out and thrown out, re-put on. And again, it ties together with the color coding on the info panel there. So well, a lot of thinking around how to make that come to life, so that way, again, the shopper can navigate a complex variety of bottles. In this case, a Welly check lane end cap. So Welly is a newer bandage brand that's currently out at Target, and in this case, the nice clean tray that's common to every shelf and the dark forest green color, but they really clearly call out the product on those info boxes with a great picture, so you really get what is shelved and merchandised on each tray, because those boxes could be, again, confused unless you're reading them carefully. In this case, again, nicely well thought out here. Harry's. We'll have a few images of Harry's here because they've done a lot of different and neat activations. In this case, again, the color is key towards the various scents that they're selling of body wash. So what they kind of did in this Walmart activation on this four-way is that they basically did it with just body wash, boldly called out on a lighter background, the hair care called out on the left with a darker background. So they kind of navigate that nicely, that it is, you do understand pretty quickly that these bottles are for different types of products on that pinwheel. Nicely, the contrasting does that very well. And it is a clean, sharp look, as Harry's is known for. And in this case, an end cap where, again, as we've talked about, it's great putting the whole regimen together here, one-stop shop. Again, making it easy for the shopper where the various pieces are all here. They don't have to go hunting down the various aisles for the different products in the different categories. It's the one-stop shop that makes it easy. And this is an activation I'm going to say a little bit, maybe some opportunity. Again, a Harry's activation shared with Flamingo, their female brand, side cap. I love the bold orange. It stands out and really pops, but also not that easy potentially to realize that there's two different brands on this end cap as well. Realizing what's merchandised on there are both the orange handled razors, but again, if you look at this quickly, you would see Flamingo and not necessarily Harry's down by your shoe tops, and realize that both brands are merchandised here. There are opportunities with that. From an ease of shopping, in this case, Mucinex really going all out on this tray for a Target end cap that is plastic and actually has pushers built in. So their products are always faced forward, right there, easy to grab, not necessarily stuck at the back of the shelf. So again, just easily faced, easily viewed by the shopper for Mucinex. So quite an investment, hopefully for several cycles at Target, or potentially moved into the regular planogram. Now this one, Clinique Fit at Ulta, nicely done, and it's very subtle. Nice end cap. But if you see behind, I'll say maybe the highlighted products, they've actually hung a red piece of plastic that your eye really attracts to that red as being a highlighted product. So something different that they tried to use. Maybe it's a little subtle and doesn't necessarily pop as much in the picture. In the store, a little bit bolder as you viewed it, because it almost framed and that product stood out by just putting a little piece of plastic behind the product that's pegged there. Also subtly, but some plastic grid pieces that divide out between the different products in this pegged end cap. You kind of can see it on the end there, those wedges, but those are nice little plastic pieces, that just provide a bit of organization between the various key product groupings on that end cap. So it's just something different, subtle. We all know, how do we make it easier when we have a whole pegged area, where Clinique Fit did something a little bit different there. Impact. We all know, again, we talk about time is of the essence, make it easy to shop, and as well, again, that first glance is, we have to earn it, and we have to earn it with a variety of impact. I'm starting off with Target, really, again, blowing out some of their personal care areas. In this case, their store in downtown Minneapolis, just creating an entire male grooming area, almost a bit of a mirror, smaller, but to some of the fancy beauty work they're doing in the female categories. And in this case, again, working with, again, their own brand, Goodfellow, only available at Target, but again, having that bold header that helps, that's, I should say header, hanging sign that really carries the area, attracts attention from afar, and then uses some great materials here of the tables, the wood, the sleek metal, that all kind of ties into a really on-trend, sharp overall look that draws in a shopper into this area. The other one is lighting, and we've talked about lighting a lot. It was a big trend we saw out of EuroShop 2017, the last time it was held. Looking forward to that show that's coming up this February. Again, lighting is attracting the eye, and particularly as LED pricing has come down, it doesn't require a lot of power, it doesn't generate heat. You know, in this case, a Target end cap just pops with the backlit images of product. Another Target end cap, again, with backlit images and some product lighting as well, that, again, really pop and attract attention. Another form of it, because as we know, all Targets are not the same. So here's one with a full tall end cap. Here's one on shorter gondolas as well. Same activation, but just kind of adapted for the different sizes. And that's something to obviously always consider, particularly across any of these big retail chains, is understanding the variety of formats and end cap types that may be out there, so that your assets fit them accordingly. Essie using lighting as well. On the inline piece, the cool backlit logo that really pops. It would have been great if they did that on the end cap as well, but both on the end cap and the inline, the product lighting that really brings it to life. Another one, Living Proof, that again, really cool with the lighting, really pops. I love how they use some different shapes on the right on the end cap with the hexagons that again kind of changes it up, creates some different angles and looks from the standard rectangular shapes that are all around. Again, this brand, a lot about the ingredients and the technology. In this case, I laugh. It's even got a call out. Who would ever thought my alma mater in the beauty section? And lighting doesn't just have to be in these high-end chains. Here's Walmart end cap backlit sign. So even there, utilizing lighting to really help pop and engage the shopper. And whether that's on an end cap or even on pieces that are in aisle, to really create that attention-getting little diorama in this case, kind of here Cremo and their shave products, just kind of in this great look and feel that's really on brand, their logo on a very authentic looking whitewashed brick wall, just really sharp with the lighting around and also on underlit product. And then the other piece, as we've talked about, and I'll say frankly, our audits, we did not see a lot of video. We see more of this when we look at consumer electronics category, but Ulta Beauty here with Dyson, again, high end, having the lit end cap for their backlit logo and sign, and then the video player all around the features and benefits of their high end products. So really cool. And again, as the prices of the technology comes down, potential activations to really bring to life brands for beauty. And then if you don't have light or you don't have video, some of the other things, I'll say, starting to see a lot of this shimmer look. So here at Ulta on this end cap, really that gold shine, be something different and stand out. And here in drugstore and Walgreens, Chanel, again, the shimmery look here, really something different that helps pop and stand out in what has become a much more, I'll say, single color retail environment. These kind of looks just are different. The other thing I like is the little bow cut out at the top that adds the dimensional piece to this end cap as well. New, calling out new, calling out new, calling out new to create that impact. Here, well done at Walgreens. Walgreens, it's part of their style guides that CoverGirl is calling out this line of products. We have in prior surveys quoted that millennials, without a doubt, it's close to 40% will consider a product when they see that it is new and it's called out new at store, which is the highest percentage of motivation to try something of any of the generational cohorts. So we all know millennials are that's the group that's got the that's really coming into their purchasing power right now, and is a key segment for everybody, and calling out new is critical. Here, Revlon on a side cap, calling it out, but again, down low, really down at the bottom. Again, opportunity potentially to do that a lot higher up to really make that pop. And in here, Dr. Scholl's, again, they're doing it. The effort is there, but it's just so tiny in the upper right of the upper right lip here. Is there some way to figure out a way to really work the messaging out that new can scream a lot more boldly, that a shopper will notice it and recognize it, and you get the credit for it, that they'll go, ooh, let me check this out. The other area of impact, and we showed this at Target, and this is more impact actually with your buyers, obviously seeing these various pieces that are in this case only at Walgreens. So that way they get behind this as a retailer, knowing that it's exclusive to them, that repeat purchase is going to come back to them because it's only available to them, is a point of differentiation. So it's understanding that retail strategy to drive wins in strategic channels. And then finally, experience. Calling out from Mintel again, 75% of consumers want more human interaction as technology becomes more pervasive in their lives. In some ways, a little bit of the swing over from I'm so digitally connected, I'm getting this all there, but people still crave the experiences, connections, etc. And it is all about, at brick and mortar, how can you tell stories that you can't tell online? How do you get people to experience your brand in ways that it's different than sitting at their computer or more likely sitting on their small screen phone that really can bring your brand to life? How do you bring that? How do you do that? And one example here, Bath and Body Works, going all out with samplers. So here, a whole variety of various hand creams and all the different scents. And they literally have a tester of each one all there in these nice little racks. So you can actually test, smell, feel how each of these products are. Something, again, you can't do online, but here you can actually smell which one do I just fall in love with, and which one do I feel it feels the most luxurious on my hands. In this case, here, getting the product out of the package so you can touch and feel these hair appliances, understand the quality behind them. Now, you're not going to test and demo them, but at least you get a sense of the quality that the product you're buying. You're making an investment in this piece. Why am I spending the dollars behind this versus getting the cheap one online? And here you can touch, feel that. Don't just have it all boxed up, particularly in this case where it's all even wrapped with a security spider. And even moving into personal care, the razor units in here, Gillette in Target, having the product out of pack. So again, you can just feel how that razor handle feels in your hand. Another one that was a good attempt, again, in this case, a full end cap of a whole variety of deodorants. In this case, instead of opening up the box to try, here's a couple of scent samplers. Now, unfortunately, the execution fell down a little bit, where you can see the a little bit, the retractors aren't necessarily pulling it all the way back into the display when it's done, so they're kind of hanging down, or some of the stickers actually fell off. So you, actually it's not the sticker, the whole cap, because these actually had a little flip cap that you could smell. They kind of covered the scent. You could pop it open and smell it, but gone. So, working through the logistics to really make sure that it's and the quality of that experience piece, so that way it lives and can withstand the rigors at retail. In this case, again, love the communication of this small end cap at Walmart, but all around the connectivity of health and beauty, inside out. Again, really calling out that messaging, driving the entire, I'll say, the connection between these two categories, because healthy and making that connection of healthy is beautiful. From that experience perspective also, it's thinking again about the activations and the different setups. In this case, this is an Albertsons end cap. In this case, could fit 2 of these Old Spice trays side by side. It's actually a flexible type of structure where that info panel can actually slide out further to kind of fit different end cap widths, or in this case, kind of scrunched up a little bit so you could actually fit 2 together. But it's being mindful of that, so that end cap or that activation looks great at any retailer that it goes into and any store that it actually goes into. Part of the overall experience, again, it's thinking about the models, thinking about the looks that are all going through the store, seeing more and more diversity through the imagery that's utilized. And here's a few fun ones that I'm going to end on as we're closing in at the 45-minute mark. In this case, for Lash Serum, going out there and actually putting the cool, just fun, hot pink, 3-dimensional lashes onto this display that really just kind of stand out to the shopper as they're walking by. The hot pink, so it contrasts with the black activation and stands out, and as well just provides that fun element to this to attract attention. Also love as you get closer, talking about some key claims here in the middle, the key activation of 97%, 93%, 93%, some big numbers and claims. A Venus end cap at Target, again, seeing more and more where Target is working around, and it's not just Target, which is at Walmart and other retailers, of not necessarily needing to utilize all the shelves on the end cap. In this case, a little bit of a hybrid where they've still kept a couple of shelves, but again, using a piece that hangs and creates a story around this brand, nicely color coding messages, very clean messages that are easy to read, with a shelf that sits right next to it with the product related to that message. Really sharply done. Here's Walmart, as I mentioned, Gleam, toothbrush. Again, taking over the entire end cap, new called out on top, bold branding, and then again, this really sharp looking cantilever tray, so the product stands out, and a nice, 2 nice little pieces here, the little 3-dimensional brush on the right, and then a nice image with, again, icons highlighting the key features of the product. And then Joy here, again, more shaving, but again, this whole experiential end cap, the cantilevered shelves, and the 3-dimensional shower clawed bathtub, just a fun activation. And again, their branding standing out on that nice curved top with the 3-dimensional logo. Really a sharp activation. So think about, how do you bring your brand story, your brand to life with these activations that really help, again, create experiences and engagements that somebody's not going to get on their mobile phone or their small screen tablet. Bring it to life, make it happen, is what it's all about. So I think we hit just about the 45-minute mark on the nose. I want to thank everybody for their time today. Hopefully you found a couple of great snippets and ideas here that make you think about your next retail activation. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any additional questions or want some to bounce other ideas or kick around help for your next retail activation. Definitely here for that. You will get an email later this afternoon thanking you that you can respond right back, as well as if you need any of the content, let me know. The final thing I'll leave you with is please provide any feedback as well. Quick reply to that email with any key things definitely is helpful to make these more helpful for you for the next time. So please do that and reply. And then also be on the lookout for our upcoming webinars. Will be at this point early next year. We're going to have a holiday webinar in January, followed by consumer electronics. And don't hesitate to sign up because, again, there's some cool things seen in the other categories that may be applicable to you. And then finally, we're also going to be going to EuroShop, which is the world's largest retail show. For those of you that have been to Global Shop, EuroShop is 10 times larger. It's held only every 3 years. Loads of great stuff at that show. Again, if you want, reach out to me on my email if you want me to look out for anything there. But we'll also be running a webinar after that show in March or April. So again, look forward to seeing you on future webinars, and thank you very much.